Thanks to those joining me live and to those that are joining me on archive. If it is in archive, leave a comment, tell me what you think. Thumbs up the video. Hit that notification button. That way you're notified every time D-Style Boxing comes on live. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. All right? Let's talk more about it. First of all, right? Like, I'm just, like, look, a lot of you think, like, this, a lot of you guys think that I'm just being negative and why don't you see the positive? And let me tell you something, right? If something isn't sustainable, it's not sustainable. And if it's not good for the long term, then it's not good, right? Like, yes, I can tell you short term, sure. Long term is what matters, okay? At the end of the day, long-term goals, all right, are more important than short-term goals. Like, point blank, period. Doesn't mean you shouldn't have short-term goals, right? Short-term goals that add to your long-term goals are a good thing, right? But in this case, I have yet to see anyone tell me how this model is sustainable. I've heard a lot of, well, just enjoy it while it lasts. I've heard that. I've heard, well, what do you care? I'm going to enjoy my boxing for just $9.99 a month. Like, if it's the only app you pay for, you got to pay for other shit now. Okay? Like, if it's the only thing you pay for regarding boxing. Now they're going to nickel and dime the shit out of you, all right, for just boxing, and you're going to spend more on boxing than you did before, right? Just because you're on this whole, the apps. The apps are taking over. Look, man, apps are taking over shit. And there's many reasons I know this, all right? A lot of it is public knowledge. So, for example, DAZN. DAZN's model right now is, hey, we got the money, so we're going to spend it, and then we're going to cross our fingers and hope that we get a return in our investment, right? Because at the end of the day, they want a return in their investment. They want to make a profit out of this. Like, they're not just spending it to spend it, right? That's what they want. But in the meantime, here we got, the sweet science has been reduced to fucking apps and shit. And then you have people celebrating it like, yeah, apps, baby. Let me tell you something. Just imagine, like, the NBA announced, like, oh, no, we're going to get rid of the NBA League Pass. We're going to get rid of NBA on TNT. We're going to get rid of NBA on ESPN. No more who is it? Is it ABC or whoever puts on, I forgot which local station gives NBA playoffs and the finals in, but is it NBC? I forget. Oh, no more of that. We're going to go to an app. That's right. The NBA is going to be in an app. An app? Like, it would be like everywhere. Like, people would be like, why the hell are you getting out of these stations going to a fucking app? Right? Imagine the NFL, like, packing its shit and just saying, you know what? No more Monday Night Football on ESPN. No more Thursday Night Football on NFL Network. Okay, no more Sunday night on NBC. No more Sunday afternoon football game. No, we're going to go to apps. We're going to go to DAZN and we're just going to have football there. Subscribe to DAZN for $9.99. And can you just imagine that, right? Like, I could see people saying, oh, well, look, hey, I could get all the games, which is $9.99. But then, like, you would question, right? You would question, is this sustainable? Can we actually do this? It's the questions would arise, like, why are we going to an app? And, like, nobody would be, oh, TV's dead. TV's not dead, right? Specific networks get lower ratings because there's more channels. But overall, it's not dead. Hundreds of millions of people still watch TV. What are you guys talking about? Like, this idea that it's just dead. Like, nobody owns a TV. You could do the numbers, right? I think DirecTV has like 30 million subscribers. Dish has like 12 million subscribers, and Comcast has like 13 million, and Time Warner has like 10 million, and Charter has like another 10 million, and then you got, I think Comcast actually has like 30 million. And then when you add it all up, like, you got over 100 million people have cable, but you have all these people talking about how it's dead. Like, what are you guys talking about? You guys don't know what the fuck you're talking about. All right. Now, could you argue down the line? It's going to have to somewhat change. Yes, but you guys are missing a couple things, right? Like internet, for example. Let's take internet. A lot of people are subscribing to TV still, right? They're like, oh, I'm a cord cutter, right? But they're still paying for TV, right? Whether it's Sling TV or DirecTV Now or whatever it is. Like, you're still paying for television. You're just using the internet to get it, you know? Plus you pay your internet. Like, it's not like you didn't stop paying for TV. Like, that didn't happen. You're just using another form to get it. That's all it is, right? Oh, well, I use Netflix. Netflix is not a substitute to cable television. Netflix is a de facto, just quicker way of, you know, in the old days when you go rent movies and they'll mail out the DVDs to you, but now it's just directly there for you to stream it, right? And they have some original series and stuff like that as well, which makes them just another premium network. It's just another HBO. It's just another Showtime. Without having live TV. That's all it is. Now, if you want to argue you love their shows and all that's fine. But let's be real about what Netflix is, right? The Zone is just another app that is giving exclusive content. In this case, now they'll have like Canelo and stuff like that, right? But that's what it is. It's not giving you all boxing. You're not going to get all boxing fights around the world on The Zone. You still have to get ESPN Plus if you want other boxing. You're still going to have to get some boxing fights are still going to be on ESPN. Some boxing fights are still going to be on Showtime. So this isn't solving your problem with paying for boxing. If anything, you're actually forking out more money to watch boxing in the long run, right? Is really what you're doing. That's just what it is. So they've taken some boxing fights that would have otherwise been free on TV, right? Or would have been on ESPN or Showtime, which still shows boxing anyway, right? There used to be HBO, not anymore. They're taking that. You're going to be paying $9.99 a month for that now on an app. And then when Canelo fights, you're still going to pay $9.99 for now, by the way. They will be increasing the amount that you pay for The Zone, okay? It's the only way they could be sustainable. So, but in long term, at the end of the year, you're actually paying the same, right? You're just making monthly payments for it now. You have a monthly payment plan for what you used to pay in parts before, right? In some cases, you can save some money. In some cases, you won't. But this isn't saving you money. This, like, a lot of you guys are living in this, like, you're not thinking this through all the way, right? There's that aspect, and then there's another aspect. All right? Do you really believe that all these companies I mentioned are just going to, who, by the way, spend hundreds of millions of dollars for all these channels to exist, right? Like, they spend all this money for channels like AMC, which I know you motherfuckers watch The Walking Dead on, okay? Well, for channels like, whatever, you name it, FX, or which a lot of you motherfuckers are watching Sons of Anarchy, right? These companies that you guys say, oh, fuck these companies. Cable TV's dead. No, what they pay these channels is what gives them the ability to have a budget and create the shows that you guys love. If you honestly believe that they're just going to sit back, right, and just allow all these corporations to make their own apps and just sell specifically to people, right, directly, you're crazy, right? There is a reason they wanted to get rid of net neutrality. They don't want to get rid of net neutrality just because, right? They're going to throttle these apps, all right? They're going to throttle them. They're going to sit back, pay hundreds of millions for these channels, but then have people just go directly to them. That's not going to happen, right? So what they're going to do, and especially with cable companies and AT&T, guess what? Right? They control the internet. Okay, they're going to slow down certain websites and apps, whether you like it or you don't. I'm not saying that's right. I think that's wrong. I think that's terrible for the free market, but that's what they're going to do. That's what's going to happen. You think that they're just going to allow a pay-per-view star to go to some app when they were getting half of that pay-per-view money? When you do the math, they made tens of millions of dollars on one night, right? Just to broadcast an event, right? You think that it's going to allow this to happen? You think it's going to allow UFC to have a UFC app or UFC website and just bypass them and just go? That's not going to happen, all right? Look, I'm not saying this is right. I'm just telling you this is what's going to happen. Aside from all the other negative aspects I've already explained to you, this is another reality. It just is. Now, throttling aside and the fact that net neutrality is no longer a thing aside, right? Let's also look at this aspect, right? With the zone, the problem I have with going to these apps is the following, okay? It's the same problem I had with boxing going to HBO in the first place to begin with, right? Once upon a time, boxing was as big as college football. That's why boxing was on, worldwide sports and, Saturday afternoons. And, you had big world title fights and tens of millions of people would watch it. And it was relevant and it was popular and people knew about shit. And when a fighter died, they had a special on it on ABC, like when Salvador Sanchez died. It was a relevant sport. And what HBO did, it took it and it kind of hid it from the masses. What do you think this is going to do? Just like in the Joshua fight with Povetkin, less people watched it. Less people are going to watch this Canelo fight against his upcoming opponent. It's going to be the least watched Canelo fight, right, in years. Mark my words. It's going to be the least watched fight. People don't want to download apps to watch shit, okay? They just don't want to do that. You can say, oh, yes, they do, and there's already people spending money on apps to play games, and they already have an app for this or the UFC Fight Pass, and they have an app for the WWE Network. They got an app for ESPN Plus, and I mean the apps are adding up, and now they're spending just as much for a fucking app as they would just to have a fucking cable subscription. All right. So as these apps pile on and they pile on, all right, and it's just for you and your fucking phone, that's all it does. So you have to kind of think about that a little bit. Now, I'm not saying there's no room for boxing and apps. I think not everything could be on TV, but if you want to have something like the UFC does, where they have a fight pass, for certain fights, and then after that you actually have to go to FS1 and then the pay-per-view, then that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. If you want to have occasional events on an app, that's fine. But the idea that it's going to replace TV and it's the future and everything is just the Fire Stick, it's just connected and all this, it isn't. All right? It's just that's not true. Maybe millennials, and I guess in 20 years, the concept of TV is going to change, but not right now. Not this moment. Like, I can't just, tell my grandma to cancel her cable subscription and be like, here, grandma, here's a Fire Stick. Use this. She doesn't know how to use that shit. Can't even do that with my mom and my dad. They just want their TV. And I got to be honest, a lot of times, I personally don't like the Apple TV. And, if I'm going to pay, I might as well just pay, for something more reliable, not something that you need an internet connection for. Okay? I mean, that's me. I mean, that's not everybody, but, but with that said, all right, it's just not what I want to hear is I don't want to hear, well, it's better for me because I don't want to spend $80 on a pay-per-view, or it's better for me because now I don't have to, do this and do that. I don't want to hear what's better for you. What I want to hear is, How is Canelo on the zone sustainable? Like, how are they going to pay for this? You know, like how are they going to afford this? This is just Canelo, by the way. This is not. They still have to pay his opponent, the undercard. Like, how are they going to do it? Plus everything else they have on the zone. I already gave you guys the figures to break even, and then if they get more subscriptions, they got to give them a cut out of that. Like this idea that they're gonna make money, they're just not gonna make money, right? If under the pay-per-view model, where you pay the $80 a month, sometimes they just break even or they make a couple million out of it. Like charging $9.99 and giving 1 month free on top of that, which many will cancel before they have to pay, by the way. How is it sustainable? Like and then not only that, we know the first fight he's going to have on it is trash. So who's he going to fight after that? Like, is there really that many fights Canelo could have? You know, that's going to be at least break even? Even the best scenario, like if he fights Charlo, I think it's going to get like, maybe if they get like 2 million people to download the app, which would be great, right? But they're going to get it's either going to be a free month. It's either going to be a free month or they're going to pay $9.99 and then they're going to cancel it, dude. People are not going to they're not going to be like, oh, they gave me the Canelo fight for $9.99. So out of the kindness of my heart, I'm going to stay subscribed for another 2 years. That's not going to happen. And then look at what Canelo's getting paid, right? You know how hard it's going to be to get a fighter to like sign on? Like if Gennady, let's say they do Gennady Golovkin versus Canelo part 3, right? Let's say they do that. They're going to have to pay Gennady Golovkin $30 million to at least be, or like in the 20 millions to be even with that. If he fights Charlo's going to get at least 5 to 10 million for that. You know, like this is terrible for the zone. It's not sustainable. Nobody could explain to me how it's sustainable. No one. Everybody's saying I'm being negative, yet they can't explain to me how this is sustainable. Oh, but the zone, they got money. They got, like, I understand that they got money. I get it. Yeah, they got money. So this is a debt that they've acquired. All right. So it's no different than when, you know, was it Sears that purchased Kmart? It was a debt that they acquired. Where's Kmart now? It's dead. Right? That's what happened to it. Right? Like now they have a big mortgage they have to pay. They are expecting many people to sign up for this. I mean, they are expecting big numbers. And they're hoping that all these guys stick around and pay month after month after month, right? So riddle me this, riddle me that, okay? We could have had, like, let's say, look, let's say Golden Boy had signed a deal with Showtime. Let's say that happened, okay? And every 2 years, twice a year, okay? Let's just think about this, guys. Twice a year, you would have a Canelo fight on pay-per-view. You would have to fork out $80, right? For those 2 events, okay. But all the other Golden Boy fighters will be fighting on Showtime, right? So stay with me. Right now, you're subscribed to Showtime anyway if you're a boxing fan because they have boxing. So you would have had those fights anyway. Now, right now, you're paying for Showtime anyway. But instead, you're going to have the fighters of Golden Boy fighting on the zone. And if you want to watch those fights, you have to be subscribed for $9.99 a month. So you're going to be paying for that, you know, for 12 months. Where in the other way, you wouldn't have to subscribe to the zone. right? To watch Canelo or Golden Boy fighters, right? Which is not even that many, to be honest. But that's the way it is, guys. Like you're not saving as much money as you guys claim you're gonna save. All right. Not if you're gonna stay subscribed to it. Oh, because they have some boxing on there. Okay, so you're just paying $10, right? That's $120 that you're spending a year, right? $120 paying for the zone for likely crappy Golden Boy fights, okay, and crappy other the crappy fights that freaking Eddie Hearn is putting on, all right. So, and I understand world series of boxing and all that, but my point is, if all these fights were on ESPN and all these other fights were on Showtime, right, or Fox, and there was no DAZN, you wouldn't be paying $120 a year, okay, for a nap. Do you guys not understand this? Like if it was just on your normal TV and on Showtime, you like there is now, which you're subscribed to anyway. If you want to watch Lomachenko or Crawford, you got to have ESPN anyway. If you want to watch the fights on Showtime, you got to have it anyway. So instead of having those fights on those networks as well, instead they're having you pay for an app $120 a year. And you're saying to yourself, oh, I'm saving money because of the app, because now I don't got to pay for a pay-per-view. Fair enough. You're saving some money, right? So assuming you buy both Canelo pay-per-views, assuming you fork out the money on your own, right? Some people get together with buddies and pitch in, right? But sure, 80 and 80, that's 160. So you're saving $40, a year or whatever. Wow, right? But now you have to think about all the problems. Like we don't know how good the fights are going to be, and like this is guaranteed money. So Canelo's not really under any pressure, right, to fight like some monsters. He's not. He's going to make $30 million no matter who the fuck he fights. No matter who he fights. So you really think he's going to just fight Charlo just like that? Yeah, I'll take on Charlo. Why wouldn't he milk it for a couple of fights? Why wouldn't he? Now, although I'm saying I don't blame him for doing it, doesn't mean I won't criticize him for doing it, right? But you have to think about those consequences. You have to think about those consequences. They are real consequences. Not to mention, I just don't believe the quality is going to be that good. Mark my words, there's going to be people complaining that they couldn't watch the fucking fight. Okay, you're going to get bad streams that have terrible camera shots. Okay, their camera work is fucking shoddy as fuck, right? I try to do a play-by-play. I'm looking at the back of fucking AJ, and I couldn't even see fucking Povetkin half the time, right? You're going to get what you pay for. Not to mention, if they throttle it, it's going to be even worse. All right? So at the end of the day, I don't know, a lot of you guys are just assuming this is good news and, oh, D-Style's just hating. I just dropped some truth bombs on your asses, right? I put it down monetarily at best. This is at best, right? Which a lot of you illegally stream the fights anyway, so I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about, but at best. And this is if you spend the money on your own, right? This is not like some people just go to the bar. They pay $10 at the bar and they get to watch the fight in the bar, right? And they pay for the drinks if they want. But if you spend $80 for Canelo pay-per-views, okay, and that's if sometimes they're lower than that, then yes, when you crunch the numbers, you'll save about $40 a year, right? Give or take. This is best case scenario. I don't believe that's the scenario for everybody. I think most people are going to spend more money, all right? Not to mention that if you want more boxing, you got to have ESPN Plus, and then soon enough, Top Rank will come up with their own fucking app, and then somebody else will have another app, and before you know it, the Epix app will be back, and like you're going to have to subscribe to all these apps to get all the boxing, right? What the hell is this shit? Hold on. The hell? It's a fucking... Anyway. So that's the deal, all right? All right, let's see here. That's the way the ringer sounds, by the way. All right. But with that said, guys, let me read some of these comments really quick. Let's see here. Couple comments. I'll go ahead and read these as I go off. I do got a roll here. It's got a text. Yeah, you guys got to pay $120. Like if you really do subscribe to it all year to get the exclusive Golden Boy fights and everything else, and the 2 Canelo fights, you're spending $120 a year. That's if they don't increase the monthly subscription, which they will. Because if they don't, they're going to be losing millions of dollars. Like, you know who has a lot of money? Well, somebody said tax, 140. Well, I'm being nice. I mean, it depends by the state, I guess. You know, but I got you. Yeah, I know AJ's fights. I got you. There's more fights as well, but like I was watching AJ on Showtime before he got on the Zone. Do you understand what I'm saying? Right? Like a lot of these guys, Khan and like they were fighting on Showtime before they got on the Zone. They're just making you pay for another boxing subscription. You guys are spending more money. You're not saving money. What are you guys talking about? So anyway, that's all I'm saying. But yeah, somebody made a good point about the tax and all that. That's true. Got to keep that in mind. Assuming they don't increase, they're going to be increasing the fucking rates on this shit. It's not sustainable. HBO costs $15 a month, okay? And by the way, don't tell me that I got rid of that. Some people got rid of HBO when they got rid of boxing, but very few did. There was no like huge influx of people unsubscribing. If anything, HBO's numbers have actually gone up in subscriptions, okay? Like people subscribe to it for this, original series and stuff like that, okay? I just wanted to make that point right away. But anyway, HBO charged $15 a month. And guess what? They still had pay-per-views because that $15 subscription wasn't enough to sustain the type of money pay-per-view fighters want to make, right? And that's it. Said before, Canelo had an incentive. Like when he was fighting pay-per-view, well, if I fight somebody, people think it's a threat or, we could kind of mingle with that a little bit. So he could, there's a reason he got more buys with Gennady Golovkin than he did with Liam Smith. But now they're going to pay him the same to fight Gennady Golovkin or Liam Smith, right? So there's really no incentive for him to fight better opposition. There isn't. So counter that argument. Counter it for me, please. All right? What do you guys think? Like, you're not going to get better quality boxing. You're not. Mark my words. These Golden Boy cards are going to fucking suck. Mark my words. Okay? Mark my words. It's going to be hard to make a lot of these fights we want to see Canelo in. It's going to be hard. And the Zone's not going to let him fight outside of the stupid Zone. Right? So there goes that. No, you don't have to pay a standard subscription to get HBO. You can get it for $15 by itself. But many providers will give you like a special on HBO, like half price or $10. You can pay for it less. But that's another story. Or you get free the first 3 months for free when you sign up, or sometimes they give it for free for a month. Like, it just depends. But that's just another story. With that said, guys, I gotta roll, man. I gotta go. Got some stuff to do. But thanks for everybody that joined me. I'll read the comments here, all of them, when I log out. But peace out.